What was the most bizarre school rule you had in your school? Our handbook stated that you could only address teachers as Mr., Mrs., Miss, Drive, or Coach. The 60-year-old woman, who was in no way involved with athletics, that taught biology, tried to write a referral to one of my friends who insisted on calling her coach for insubordination. Admin couldn't do anything about it, so they removed Coach from the list of acceptable names and reissued the handbook. To that both happened in high school. No high fives, as administration considered it bullying. They never once explained how, but it was. They banned any drink that wasn't water or plain milk. They would actually check lunch bags as kids entered to make sure they weren't sneaking anything in. They were especially hard on hot beverages. The years before, high schoolers could have coffee/tea from home, but then they became convinced we were adding sugar to it and banned it. I was getting over laryngitis once, and had a travel mug of hot water with honey and lemon like my doctor suggested, and the bitch of a gym teacher snatched it and dumped it, even though I had a doctor's note. Bonus, we were a K-12 school. They gave 18-year-old seniors the same size portions as 6-year-old kindergarteners. Aka 3 chicken nuggets and 4 carrot sticks. Then they'd bitch at the older kids if they brought snacks and stuff to eat. Not a school rule, but one guy in my grade passed the year for the sole reason that he was the only drummer in the school, and he threatened to change the school if he had to repeat the year. Our principal didn't want our band not to have a drummer, so the guy passed. During exams at school, internal ones, we used to sit in the exam hall for the whole week. A bunch of us finished our exams on Thursday morning because of the subjects we chose to study, so we brought reading books. About an hour later we were told we weren't allowed to read. When we asked what we were supposed to do, the teachers told us to study. When we said we had nothing to study for, they were stunned. So instead of admitting they were wrong, they instead told us to just sit there. Now I don't know if any of you have had to sit at a desk in a school hall for 2 days straight with nothing to distract you but your angsty teenage thoughts, but it's pretty close to how I imagine solitary confinement in prison is. Off the top of my head, my high school had a rule that you had to register your car with the school if you wanted to drive to school. That wouldn't be totally weird until you consider that my high school was in a very urban area and only had one small lot that was for faculty only. Students had to park on the street. So in other words, we had to get a pass from the school in order to park on the public streets. In 11th and 12th grade we had 4 get out of jail cards per half year. You could hand those in after missing up to 2 days without an excuse. The problem was that if you were late for more than 45 minutes you had to use one of those. So if I overslept and calculated that I will miss more than 45 minutes, I decided that I might as well stay home for a day or two. And I wasn't the only. In my elementary school, the 5th grade girls were subject to bra checks every morning by the female principal. It wasn't invasive per se. She simply would run her hand down their backs to ensure they were wearing one. If they were not wearing them, they were sent home. Edit. This was in a very conservative state in 2000. This school was ass backwards AF. They once tried to suspend me when I was in the 1st grade for not standing for the national anthem. I was scolded by the teacher in front of my whole class for making a political statement. I was 6. 2nd grade. We had a toilet in our classroom, but the megabitch teacher still made us raise our hands for permission. I had my hand waving around for what felt like hours. Ms. Megabitch was almost certainly ignoring me, too busy prattling on about addition and subtraction, and what have you. Anyway, she ignores me. Then it's time for us to go to the library for story hour, or typing practice or something like that. IDK, what really? She's still ignoring me. I try to ask to use the bathroom on the way. I'm annoying though. She finally acknowledges me. No, you can wait. Instead I pee my fucking pants at the library and go home for the rest of the day. Thanks Ms. Megabitch. I really valued the 30 seconds I didn't miss off your stupid addition lecture. In my elementary school, the 5th grade girls were subject to bra checks every morning by the female principal. It wasn't invasive per se. She simply would run her hand down their backs to ensure they were wearing one. If they were not wearing them, they were sent home. Edit. This was in a very conservative state in 2000. This school was ass backwards AF. They once tried to suspend me when I was in the first grade for not standing for the national anthem. I was scolded by the teacher in front of my whole class for making a political statement. I was 6. Anyone caught with a chestnut gets suspended. There was a chestnut tree, wild horse chestnut in the schoolyard, so one of the activities during recess was of course having chestnut wars. When they were in season, as soon as we'd get out, everyone would pick up as many as they found, take cover, and start launching them at each other. We were all often bruised by it, but no one was a specific target, so it wasn't bullying. I guess we all saw it as more of a friendly sport. It was the status quo and the school didn't seem to mind much until someone threw one so hard it cracked the window on a teacher's car. A kid admitted it was him, but still, it turned into a big thing and they got strict about not allowing it. After years and years of not seeing each other, a few months ago, by an unrelated sad circumstance, a handful of us from class got reunited for a lunch and walk about town. Someone mentioned the chestnut incident, and as we talked about it, one of the guys said it was actually me who cracked that window. I'm sure of it. I threw that chestnut and followed it with laser focus until it hit that car by accident. I knew it was me, but no one else did, and then the other kid admitted to it. I never learned why he did, but of course I never complained. Just to bear in mind, this was an all-girls grammar school. Shoes could only be black, brown or navy blue. This also applied to hairbands, hair ties, no trainers, sneakers, or boots. Socks, white or navy, had to be pulled up at all times. Write only in fountain pen. Pencil is allowed for notes or draft versions. If you make a mistake, cross it through with a ruler and put brackets around it. You have to backquote cover your exercise books. Most people used wrapping paper or sticky backed plastic. Nothing with a hood could be worn. The vice principal threatened to cut the hoods off if he caught students wearing one, and would stand at the school's entrance carrying around a pair of scissors. I don't know of any instances of people losing their hoods, so it was mostly just a scare tactic to enforce it. Some people had their hoodie/jacket confiscated, but returned at the end of the day, hood intact. It was such a bizarre rule. Came out of nowhere in the middle of winter, and was enforced for only a few weeks before people stopped caring. Around my last year of primary school, Brit here, they suddenly added a rule where you can't talk during your lunch. They said it was so we'd have more time to play afterwards, but you'd have to wait to be dismissed first, so how long it takes to eat doesn't matter at all. At first everyone was silent apart from a few whispers behind the teachers' backs, but then it transitioned into everyone talking quietly. I think the teachers gave in at that point, as they said that we can talk as long as it's quiet. Then everyone learned to gradually get louder, so by the time I left it was back to normal level. Edit. At my prep school I went to for a year after that, we managed to get rock paper scissors banned. It's a long story. You just reminded of the stupidest shit I ever saw. When I was in 5th grade there were these awful stoplight looking pieces of shit that had microphones installed on them to gauge how loud the ambient noise was. There were like 6 of them, and if a single one read too high then the entire room had to be silent for 5 minutes, and if a single kid made a sound, the entire table they were at would be kept inside for recess. They were also set to be stupidly sensitive. After a month, a group of kids grabbed screwdrivers and turned all of the sensitivity knobs down to minimum. That worked for a while, but eventually the lunch monitors realized and had a janitor reset them. On the 3rd month, some kid brought a slingshot and pegged one with a steel ball. It fell off the wall and hit some other kid in the head. That was on a Friday, and when we came back on Monday they were gone, and the lunch monitors had a shiny new megaphone. I don't know if it's really bizarre, but dress code for the girls. They aren't even allowed to show shoulders. Last year they almost banned Crocs because someone was offended cause they saw some girls' feet. For the girls who are dress coded they automatically either get ice or they have to cover the showing part of skin with duct tape or toilet paper. No colored duct tape. Our principal was a proud and very openly homophobic asshole. If he saw any boy that did something he considered gay, he would ban it. This was also 2001 to 2005, so major emo period with long hair, eyeliner and painted nails. My brother was openly gay and was a common target for this asshole. One day my brother's backpack ripped and all we had was colored duct tape from moving that we used to color code boxes. He slapped some purple duct tape on his bag and went about his business. Lo and behold, by lunch principal fuckface is frothing at the mouth and makes an announcement that colored duct tape is banned from school grounds. Dude got sued several times before I graduated over his harassment. At one school I subbed at, if you bring 10 canned items for the campus food pantry, you can buy your way out of detention. The policy has a socio-economic/class bias in favor of higher income students whose families can afford to buy surplus food. Honestly, the admin is so incompetent and lacking in empathy. I'm not sure if the class bias is intentional or an oversight. This was in a high school where 85% of students were free lunch kids. The free lunch kids were the ones using the pantry to put food on the table. They are not kids who have enough disposable income to bring 10 canned good in order to buy back 2 hours of their life. Barely qualifies as bizzare, but well, this. Most of my classrooms have the no bathroom breaks 15 minutes before and after class. Only one boy and girl at a time, and that means you can't have two people where one is in the washroom and one is in the fountain getting a drink. Not really a rule, but whatever. One time in grade 7, something was wrong and the speaker couldn't play O Canada. So my teacher said you have to sing at least a little bit, and if you don't you have to sing a solo in front of the entire class. I hated singing and didn't do it. I moved my mouth to mouth random words and I never got busted for that. High school I went to band co-ed naked and Big Johnson t-shirts. For those that don't remember / were too young / didn't exist, yet those shirts had a picture of some kind of activity with a saying below it. That saying was always a sexual innuendo. I had 2 co-ed naked shirts, selling, do it on an even keel, and billiards. Get felt on the table. Teachers claimed the shirts were inappropriate. My fellow students and I either played innocent, "What do you mean? It's just a sailboat," or pointed out that the meaning was only sexual if they chose to take it that way. "So Mr. Teacher, you're saying you have a dirty mind?" Eventually they just quit enforcing the ban. They couldn't hope to win against 700 students. Thanks for watching. In comments, write about similar facts and situations from your life. If you enjoy this video, watch other on my channel, and have a nice day.